The latest developments for Harding, I think, as you probably know, we're on 20 different cruise brands, on 64 ships. That ship number is growing on a monthly basis. So our latest developments really in ship launches have been Marella Explorer, which launched back in May of this year. Prior to that, we also launched the luxury brand Seabourn Ovation. Coming up, we've just done Norwegian Star, which has just launched also in May. And so that's probably all in terms of new ship launches for 18, but there are further ones coming then during 19 and 20, and obviously during 20 is when Virgin Voyages will appear for the first time. So Virgin, as you know, is an incredibly huge global brand in its own right, and so this is their first foray into cruise. It's obviously been part of Richard Branson's plan for a number of years to get into the cruise market. He's made no secret of it, but now that dream is coming to fruition because the ship's already under construction. In terms of what I can tell you is quite limited. They have released very few details about the ship. They've probably just recently released in the last couple of weeks some renders of some of the one or two of the spaces on the ship, but that's predominantly it. What they have said is that the ship is going to be radically different, and from what we have had and seen with them so far, that is definitely going to be the case. So they are after a new consumer. They're after a different cruise consumer to what you would typically associate with cruise, and then the retail proposition is being placed to match in sync with that. About the ship itself, it's around about 2,900 passengers that will be on board. Itineraries, unfortunately, not been published yet, so we can't tell you that. We do know that the first ship is likely to be somewhere out of the North America market, but we don't know anything more than that. And then ships 2 and 3, nothing has been announced to date. I think in part of my presentation this morning and the bit that I did about capturing hearts and minds, there seems to be a lot of myths around cruise ship and ferry retail, a lot of perceptions about what it's actually like on board. And actually, if you look at some of the spaces that are now being created on board, whether it's Harding that are doing it, or our competitor Starboard, or even Dufry, they're creating these compelling environments that are as good as, if not better than, anything that you would see on land. And I think there's a collective responsibility for all of us within the industry to educate both the consumer, suppliers, and anybody else that marine retail actually, it's better than an airport in my opinion, yeah, and the environments that we're creating are as good as, if not better than it in those places. And so this kind of platform gives everybody the opportunity to sell that concept of marine retail, because I still think we're only scratching the surface as far as that bit of is concerned. I think there's more to come for marine retail. I think as time has gone on, the retail on board has become more and more important, certainly from an income perspective for the cruise lines and for us. So its level of importance everywhere is rising. It's that platform for the cruise and ferry sector to have a voice. And actually before today, it probably didn't exist. It maybe existed in small little pockets, or cruise or ferry gets spoken about in terms of the whole travel retail picture, and when it gets spoken about in that type of environment, it generally tends to be a small proportion of it, and airport is the dominator. So having something now that focuses on the cruise side of the business, I think is absolutely the right thing to do.